Guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wayne Gaming, a 70-man Twitter the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Minotaur Hotel. So, y'all, but without further ado, y'all, I wanted to let y'all know, we've got the Patreon up now. We've got Bronze tier for $5, Silver tier for $10, and Gold tier for $15. Each of those comes with exclusive rewards and permanent access to our community Discord server. It's as little as $5, y'all. Anyway, let's go, and it definitely helps out the channel. We're definitely going through some stuff right now. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go! Alright. What was that one? Alright. Do you wish to uphold the hotel's mission? I wish to be a good master to the hotel and to you. I didn't know what I was getting into when I accepted Clement's deed. A lot has happened in a single day, and I couldn't have imagined any of this from his ramblings. But yes, I intend to uphold the hotel's mission now. I want to be a good master, and to the hotel and to you. I'm not trying to trick you, but what you've told me, I'd have no reason to. Maybe it's hard for you to believe me right now, but I mean it. Asterion does not answer at first. Only his deep breathing cuts the room's silence. It's been so long. I don't know for how many years I was locked away. I must admit, the mere thought of asking gives me chills. Master, can you imagine? For centuries, I've been tending to this hotel. It was my mercy, what saved me from torture and gave me purpose. It was hard work, and not all masters have been kind over the centuries. But it was wonderful nonetheless. I enjoyed every moment of it. And then Master Jean-Marie died. I could have done more to try to stop him. I should have. Then he came, Clement. I am used to pain, but I had grown accustomed to having people, a mission, a purpose. Being locked away didn't hurt half as much as having my guests kicked out. Today you freed me, took me into your service, and now you tell me you wish to be a good master, to the hotel and to me. Allow me to speak frankly. I am afraid of you, terribly so. You are my jailer. Over the centuries I grew comfortable with enjoying my masters, but after Clement it's all come back to me. I am so afraid of what you can do to me and to the hotel. There's no choice but to obey your every command. I'm so sorry for saying this. It is profoundly out of place for the Keeper to address the Master in such a way. Little girl, no. It is not for you. No. Silly thing. I suppose that, even if I'm afraid of you, I've lost my fear of pain and overstepping boundaries. All that said, despite my fear, I find myself wanting to believe you. Asterion gets up from the sofa and walks up to you. He's clearly tipsy, stumbling about as he approaches. The Minotaur kneels before you. I wish dearly for your words to be true. I am not afforded choice on whether or not I shall obey you. I am a prisoner, but if indeed your words are true, if your heart is truly set on being a good master, then I shall follow you, not out of duty, but out of want. And were I ever allowed true freedom, I would remain by your side. I swore to serve you, and now I swear to follow you, for as long as your word holds true. He looks up to you. The room is dark, lit only by moonlight coming through the window. You can see a glimmer in the Minotaur's eye. Hug Asterion. You pull him from his kneeling position into a hug. He is light, barely heavier than a child. In your arms he is stiff and cold, but just as your hands stroke his back, he returns the gesture and rests his muzzle on your shoulder. He sniffles once, twice, and presses his face into your neck. Thank you, Master. He breathes in deeply, as if learning your scent. Night quickly settles. The hotel has no electricity, but you can do with candles. Your shadow and Asterion slither on the walls, trembling alongside the flickering flames. The Master's quarters are filled with the velvety sounds of life. Breathing, footsteps, furniture creaking under you. From outside, a passerby would see this ruined hotel with a single candlelit window. If he perchance tried exploring it, he'd only find unending hallways of black and white marble tiles echoing with the rustling of his clothes. He could seek out the comfort of this candlelit room, but he would never find it. Locked away as it is behind a doorless wall. Silence strips back over the two of you. More often than not, Asterion is turned towards you, following his gaze. Just when you realize how hungry you are, he summons a humble feast for you. Fruit, cheese, water, even a regular bottle of wine. He turns his back to you to set the table. He stumbles a bit, and a few apples roll off to the ground. You catch him giving you a sideways glance. His nostrils flare under his nervous breathing. Asterion seizes. His back broadens as he breathes in, and then his shoulders slouch forward with his exhale. He gazes back at you, as if trying to say something. After a few seconds, he returns to setting the table. His tail flicks behind him, perhaps even with some chirpiness. When dinner is ready, he presents it to you with a half smile on his lips. Your candlelit dinner is simple and uneventful. Any offer to have Asterion eat alongside you is brushed off with a shake of his head. It's a long, deliberate movement. His single ear whips to and fro beside his head. It's like, water time. No, not actually water. I lied. It's coffee. You ask him if there's any way to restore the hotel's electricity. There is, yes. We must light the hotel's hearth, and for that we must use a special object. It is a set of bronze mirrors that focus sunlight. It generates a pure flame. It will bring the entire hotel back to life. Shortly after, with nothing else to do for the night, the both of you find rest in your respective rooms. Hades. Voyage. Interesting. The Minotaur dreams. Before Athens and Sparta there was Crete, where Zeus was born and raised. Wild goats left their cloven marks on its slopes, carved out of cooled magma from the age of the Titans. Its soil, rich and hard, bore the promise of prosperity. Crete was a cradle, safe and fertile for early mankind, as it was for Zeus, first of the Olympians. His son, Minos I, made his way there and became its founder and king. When death came for him, Minos was made judge of the dead. His lineage bore many kings for Crete, the prosperous cradle of man. There was another who carried the name of Minos, a man who made a pact with Poseidon, god of the sea. From the foamy waters, the Olympians sent a white bull to signal his favor, and in turn the man promised to sacrifice it. But Minos took for himself that which was meant for the gods. For his hubris, Poseidon cursed his household. His wife, Pasiphae, was struck with lust for the beast and ordered the legendary craftsman Daedalus to craft a hollow heifer. Pasiphae took the bull's lurch and became pregnant with his child. So was born the Minotaur. Pasiphae's infamy survives. Crete fell in favor of Athens, which in turn was dragged away by Rome, which too was consumed by time. But Pasiphae's disgrace remains. Much like the tale of the cannibal half-breed she birthed survives. But for the Minotaur, she was mom, and she called him Asterion, her starry-eyed son. He drank from her breast like any boy, and he played with his siblings even if his visage betrayed the sin which beget him. The Minotaur dreams of the vast field of white asphodel flowers where he'd go with his sister, Ariadne, holding her fingers, where they would sit by a tree and he'd nap with his head on her thighs. Asterion dreams of Crete, the palace of Knossos where he was raised, and of his inescapable fate, the labyrinth crafted by Daedalus, where he met his end. Before the first hairs of a beard would have sprouted were he fully human, he was carted off to a stone labyrinth deep within one of Crete's valleys. The exit was blocked off and he was left only with an axe he could hardly raise. A decade passed before a visitor came. Asterion could no longer think. Language had escaped his mind altogether, so lonely had he become. His visitor, Theseus, had crossed the sea for the Minotaur's head. The hero expected a battle, but found only a beast deserving of mercy. Asterion did not reject the hero's pity. At last he dreams of the Asphodel Meadows. It's a mercy. It's the end of his suffering, but he awakens to the labyrinth again. He jumps from the dream to reflection. Master Jean-Marie and Clement, the cold room, the new master, freedom from the darkness, food, and wine. Asterion grasps the dusty sheets. It's been decades since he slept on a bed. He feels no bed sores on his back. Instead of the cold room stench, there is only the slightly moldy smell of his old room. His lips, half bull, half skeletal, threaten to curl into a smile, but doubt eats away at him, churns in his stomach. The Minotaur unceremoniously rises and opens the closet. No matter what comes next, he must work, and then work some more. While he checks his garments, he mumbles an old poem from memory. So, water time, or coffee time. Oh, that is some damn good coffee. You came, and you did well to come. I longed for you and brought you fire, to my heart which burns high for you. These old clothes don't fit him. The mirror makes it clear how much of a disgrace he is. The gaping, fleshless hole in his skull makes his ichor bubble and threaten to burst from his mouth. But he's less of a disgrace than he was the day before, and for the last 80 years. There is some mercy in that. He forces a half-smile and goes out. As soon as he steps out, however, his ear flicks. He catches a distant tune, chirpy. One could even say joyous. It is faint but unmistakable. The smile disappears from his face. Chapter 3. The Foreman. Dust diamonds float across the room, suspended in time. Merciless daylight pierces the windows. Your mouth is dry, your eyes red. The room is humid and growing hotter under the desert sun. Just outside, you hear the clopping of hooves, very faint but noticeable, as if a certain Minotaur was trying and failing to be quiet. Your phone, now about to run out of battery, says it's 6 a.m. You get up and go out to face the day. Good morning, Master. I hope you slept well. Asterion, what are those clothes you're wearing? It's what I used to wear. They may be a tad big right now, but that won't last. I'll be back to my old shape before you know it. I thought it was appropriate enough to have spent a whole day naked in your presence, so this morning I set out to clothe myself. Do you like them? Do you like Asterion's clothes? How about something more modern? I think you look, good, sure, but those clothes are a bit old. How about wearing something more modern? I mean, we can just summon food and water here, right? Surely I can get you some clothes, too. Of course, Master. Just command and the hotel will bend to your will. The hotel flicks around you as reality rewrites itself. You picture a shirt you could see yourself wearing. It's a simple task. Something bold, brave, and exuding confidence. Out of nowhere, a bundle appears in Asterion's hands. He goes away for a minute to try it out. So, this is what people wear nowadays. It seems oddly casual to me, but Master's will is my command. What the fuck? Really? It is quite comfortable. I like it. It's not as sharp, but yes, I do like it. Thank you. Shortly after, Asterion summons a simple breakfast for you. Bread, cheese, and fruit. It is all he can offer now, seeing as the kitchen still doesn't have working equipment. You take a seat, while Asterion stands with his back to the wall, looking at you. So, what do we have to do? What do we have to do today? Any chores? There is one, but it is not something. Master ought to worry not. Master ought to worry about. Oh, sorry. There's one, but it is not something Master ought to worry about. The trinket I mentioned last night, the one which can light up your flame. If Master so wishes, I can search for it, and then we shall be able to restore the hotel. But I can help. It's no trouble. It's not like I have anything else to do while you're busy. I obey the Master's will. Silence hangs around you. The air is heavy as Asterion directs his gaze at you, and the food on the table. This meal of fruit, cheese, and bread is simple. One could say it is bland and boring, but the Minotaur looks at it with a fervor befitting of how thin he is. Saliva drips from his half-exposed jaw. He does not notice as the first drops fall to the floor, but once it starts seeping onto his chin's fur, he slaps his own cheek to cover the wound. His eyes go wide as he realizes what just happened. Asterion looks to you, frightful of your reaction. It is a sorry sight. His gaze conveys a sense of dread. It would seem he fully expects you to be angry at his appalling behavior. You seem hungry, Asterion. Aren't you going to eat? I don't mind sharing a meal with you. So, coffee time. It is improper for the servant to eat with the Lord. Master need not worry about me. I'll feed after you are done. Is that how the previous master treated you? Yes, that has been our custom ever since. For many centuries, shall we say. Master Jean-Marie in particular was quite strict with it. He appreciated order and hierarchy. In truth, he would have appalled had he seen my behavior yesterday. Walking around naked, depending on the master for assistance. He was kind but strict, and at times he would punish my insubordination quite harshly. After all, how else was I supposed to know what I did was wrong? But even then, he was among the kinder masters. Is that really necessary? Couldn't he just talk with you? He believed otherwise. Nonetheless, he had no qualms with treating me well when I exceeded his expectations. The Minotaur shifts on his hooves and looks down. His eyes grow duller. He would pet me at times, scratch my chin and behind my ears. He could be affectionate. I enjoyed my time with him, I did. He was a fine master for the hotel. It flourished under his rule. That is what matters. I am happy as long as the hotel is doing well, fulfilling its purpose of providing respite to those in need. It is as I said, being locked away did not hurt nearly as much as seeing the place abandoned. Whether the master treats me well or not, ultimately it matters not. I was sentenced to eternal suffering, and to merely exist as I do now is better than I could have ever hoped for. So, I liked Master Jean-Marie. He was a good man. It is not my place to comment upon the master's actions. Master Jean-Marie would have been furious had he heard this conversation. I suppose I have been awfully chatty today, have I not? I am sorry for troubling the master. You're not bothering me. I want to know more about you, and, well, you're fine company, too. I wish you'd sit and share the meal with me. But since it's not something you're willing to do, I enjoy hearing you talk. It is not my place to comment upon your actions, my lord. But with your permission... Alright guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks for a tip if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. Be sure to check out the Patreon. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!